Yeah.
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 I think the things you go through make you who you are.
Mhm.
And in my journey, like there's certain things that I'm not really, I don't even let it into my system like that. I think depression is a luxury.
Wow.
Because where I'm from, you can't afford to be depressed. You got to pay the bill, right?
Right.
So you got to go to work. You got to get up. You got to go do what you got to do. You got people right now that's at work don't feel like being there.
Mm-hmm.
But they got responsibilities, so
Yes,
they go.
sir.
They feel uncomfortable while they're working, while they're doing what they got to do. Like when these guys get in a slump and they just decide that they're not gonna do anything, I'm like, where they do that at?
Right.
Even when you're on the street, you got a pack. You just decide not to come outside. I think the things.
Y'all seen this video?
Yup.
Yep.
Is depression a luxury, a cop out? Are people really sitting down when they depressed? And are we treating it like a valid explanation? I really, really want to say excuse, but I'm trying to be diplomatic. Like, are you depressed? Is it okay for you to sit down? Because I felt what 50 was saying. I personally don't believe in depression. What you think, Alex?
I think depression is a state of mind and a state of being, but I understand what he's saying in the sense of just because I'm depressed and just because I have shit going on, I don't get to stop my day to day. And that's how I look at it, because you're right. Like when you've got bills to pay, when you've got people dependent on you, you don't have the luxury of, I'm just going to sit down, I'm going to wallow in my feelings and my emotions. It's not an excuse to not do what you have to do. But I don't know if it's necessarily a cop out. I don't know.
Why? Don't you think it's a cop out?
It's not that I don't think it's a cop out. Let me say this. I feel like we are in a realm now where mental health is so big. I feel like people use that to their excuse as to why they can't do anything. I'm so depressed. I'm in this place. I can't get up to have my day-to-day function. But to his point, some people, they can't afford that. If just because I'm depressed, if I don't get up and go to work, I don't have a place to live. My bills aren't going to be paid. All of this is going to happen. So it's a very real thing. Depression is absolutely real. And I'm sure we've all had different bouts of it, but it's not your excuse to not get up and do what you have to do. But some people, if they're afforded that luxury, they will use it.
What makes it so real? And how do these bouts manifest?
Anything can happen. Like life happens.
So what makes it so real though? Depression itself.
Just speaking for myself, it's a constant mind fuck. Like you're not feeling yourself. Like I don't feel like myself, and there's no way for me to describe or get myself out of it. Sometimes it's crying all day. Sometimes it's sleeping in the bed or wanting to sleep in the bed all day. Sometimes it's overeating. There's so many different things to it. But I also think now we're in a space where people are talking about it more. And sometimes people are functionally depressed. Depression doesn't always look like I'm laying in bed all day, I'm crying. Sometimes people overwork because they're depressed. And sometimes they don't want to sit down with their emotions. So it looks different for different people.
Salad. That's what I got from you just now. Word salad.
Wow.
So because I asked, and it just sounds like it's so subjective. How is it? You can't even quantify it, qualify it, because it's so subjective. So what makes it so real? Just if you feel sad for an elongated period of time, you depressed, or is it like if a fat motherfucker is 500 pounds, I'm so depressed. Why don't you fucking go to they got Pelotons for that? I just feel like it's just I don't know. It just feels very fragile to me.
I mean, I feel like, and of course I'm gonna be biased because I work in behavioral and mental health.
Why be biased though?
But because to me it's real. To me it's real.
That's not biased though. That's not biased.
Okay. Well, to me, depression is real, but I do believe that people use it as a crutch. So I feel like without truly understanding or putting the effort in to fix it or fix whatever the issue may be, because it could not be as high as depression. But again, like Alex said, people handle it differently. So there's people that are depressed that are still walking around carrying on their normal lives because they have families to take care of and things like that. But there's those people that are like, oh, I have depression and anxiety is another big one. So I can't go to work. I can't be around this and I can't do that.
So, all right. So let me get this straight. So the people are depressed, functioning normally, but you're saying they're depressed. How do you know that? How can you justify it if they functioning, taking care of their families, still going to the events they need to go to that they obligated, and they moving along in life? How do we then say they depressed?
But that's not up to us to say they're depressed. Like if you feel you're depressed, that's how you feel. It's not up to us to
But
determine.
you're saying, I know, Mary, but we're saying mental health though.
Right.
So if it's so subjective, how do you prescribe it? How do you treat it if it's specific to every single person? So what our psychologists and sociologists learn, it depends on anything. So how do we fix it?
But that's what a lot of things though. That's what a lot of things that are subjective. Everything's different per the person's experience.
I know, but we're saying mental health though. So now we got people prescribing people medicine over these so-called depression that we can't even qualify because it's so subjective. Like if I go break my finger, they're gonna put it back in place, put a splint on it, ice, ibuprofen, and then heat once it starts to heal. That permeates throughout anybody breaking their finger. But this is like up and down. So what? If I want some volume, do I go to Alex and she is a psychiatrist because they can actually prescribe medicine? I'm sad, I'm depressed, just because I want some medicine, because it's just I don't know, it's not registering to me well.
I could see where you feel like it's not registering, but with the way people are killing themselves, like, I mean,
What you mean?
suicide is definitely an effect of being depressed.
Why?
Well, it's like, you said why?
Mm-hmm.
Because like, depending on the person, of course, like you can't get your mind together mentally. Everything is in an uproar in your brain. You know what I'm saying? And it can be people just eating them own selves up, or a lot of times these are real chemical imbalances in people's brains where they can't focus. They can't put things together. They're frustrated all the time. They're sad all the time. Like they can't even name a lot of the emotions that they feel, which leads them down that path of, I can't handle this.
But you just named them.
Yeah, that doesn't mean everybody can.
So the definition that I found, just to, I guess, maybe help Hamp, says depression. It causes
No,
severe.
you don't gotta help. I can Google definitions, but we having a real conversation because people really dealing with this, right?
Yeah.
And so if y'all just give me rhetoric and you don't give me something that you Google, that don't get me any further along in understanding.
So the way I would think about depression is, it's like, what's something that is outside of your norm that is consistently, what is a feeling that is not healthy, it's not normal, that is ongoing, that is prolonged.
That's what depression
That's
is. So if I'm angry for 7 days straight, you would qualify me as being depressed? That's what I'm saying, and I'm not even playing. I'm just want to understand it. If people really gonna heal, because it starts to feel to me like people be copping out, and the real people that might actually be depressed, if they believe in it, is gonna get glossed over. Because once so many people start committing suicide, guess what? People get desensitized to is people committing suicide, and everybody's saying they depressed, and everybody's saying they got anxiety. So just like when women, when they be crying, rape or whatever the case is. But when everybody start trying to Me Too people, it has less power. What's up, Bob?
You already know I'm on the Hamp wave. I think it's a cop out. Like I'm the type that say, like, fuck it, put on your boots, lace them up, and let's get to it. It ain't no time to be walking around feeling sorry for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like these celebrities with this whole like mental health and depression bullshit kind of like really brought it to the forefront over the past couple of years with like Charlemagne and shit, talking about mental health and stuff like that. Every time somebody laid on the bill or they depressed, they need medication, they got to go talk to somebody. Man, get your fucking shit together, man. Work some more hours, man. Get to it. Let's get it.
Oh man, I mean, Bub could be right. We could be absolutely wrong. But I have maybe Chief know better. Maybe Tay know better. Because if you work in nonprofit, right? So you have innate sentimental side to you. I feel like, Alex, especially the shit that you do. You know what I mean? Even though I be clowning it, but on some real shit, that's you. Mary just said she has an implicit bias because she work in the field. So Chief don't work in that field. Tay don't work in that field. Maybe they got some insight. What's up, Chief?
So I'm in a excuse me. I'm in a little different boat than I think you two super Negroes are. So one, I hate the fact that y'all niggas sit here and act like you above emotions. That shit is like tiring to me, draining this out. Now, Hamp, you're both coming from a perspective of we got to do what we got to do, and I agree. We do have to do what we got to do, but from someone who has experienced a significant bout with depression, I'm not above acknowledging the fact that I was in a bad place for a while, and it was due to traumatic life experiences. Mm-hmm. But in that, I still was. I got to do what I got to do. I got to get what I got to get. I got to do what I got to do. Mm-hmm. But for an extended period of time, I was just here, literally just existing, bro. Just like a shell of a man. You know what I'm saying? Like just literally just existing, just going through, getting up, going to work, doing what I had to do, coming home, and just not wanting to be around nobody, not wanting to go nowhere. When I did finally get the courage up or to build up the energy to go somewhere, I didn't enjoy it because I was in this bad space. And I didn't realize it at the time. I just thought that's the space I was supposed to be in because of the circumstances. You know what I'm saying? Uh-huh. So those circumstances put me in a situation. Okay, this is how I'm supposed to feel because that happened. Mm-hmm. And then it wasn't until I found out I was having a kid that, like, I bullshit you not, it was literally like opening up my eyes and seeing the light. It's like I can identify the moment where, like, I got the news and I remember, like, it was literally like fucking like I'm standing there in the daytime, but it's still dark. And I remember when I got the news, the shit, like, it was like light outside. It was the strangest feeling, but it was kind of like, yo, you got to get your shit together. At the time, I thought I had my shit together because I was going to work, I was doing what I had to do, but I didn't realize that weight was over me. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't make excuses. I did what I had to do, but I wasn't aware that I was still this shell of a dude because I couldn't identify it as depression because I thought it was just the way I was feeling was attributed to the circumstances.
Well, for me, when the baby came, it was more the same, in my opinion, in terms of duty and responsibility. It's just another person that you have to be dutiful and responsible to. So you stay consistent, and then it just leveled up one more time because you had a child. Or are you saying like that got you out of a so-called dark place?
It did. It was again, so obviously y'all, I don't know y'all know, but so my in 2009, my younger brother was murdered, right? So with that, having to identify a body, make it rain, pick a casket, and bury my brother, like, okay, that's what I did because I thought I had to because I didn't want my mom to go through that, my mom to see all that stuff, right? So I do that, and then that's me, and still in the moment, not addressing how I feel, not processing. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, think about it. I'm going with y'all on Sundays playing football, trying to get some of this shit out, and then we winning championships, and I can't even celebrate because I'm crying after the game. I remember we talked about this before. We win the championship, and I'm like, "Hey, y'all celebrate!" And I'm crying.
Who got the MVP that championship?
You did. You did. No doubt. You did.
So let me ask you this question, P.
Yeah.
Now during this time, right? So were we wrong for not acknowledging the fact that you were still like in the dark place at that time?
You couldn't tell. Could you tell? Because I'm there with y'all. I'm at the game. I'm breaking down the huddle. I'm doing a team prayer. I'm getting y'all motivated. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't tell.
to a certain extent, some of us could tell, but we gave you some like grace, because it was a few situations where you wasn't right, man. Like, and if it wasn't for the situation, we probably would have sounded off on you.
Right. But again, so one, that goes to niggas trying to be too macho and not checking out for your homie, because y'all knew I was going through some shit, but nobody wanted to be like, yo, you good? Like, what's up, man?
No. That was niggas checking out. Because I'm like, yo, nigga, if niggas was saying, yo, Chief ain't get no pressure, but maybe his head ain't real right, so we let him ride.
I mean, yeah. But all of that comes as a result of not being in the right headspace. You think I'm going out there trying to get some of this shit off my chest, but not even be able to perform on the football field because I'm not in the right headspace. But you couldn't have told me at the time I wasn't in that right headspace.
Yeah.
Like, nigga, I'm here. I'm dressed. I got my gear on. You know what I'm saying? But
okay. So now, all right, now we might be gaining some traction. So, because the sad shit, the angry shit doesn't resonate with me. But Chief saying he was numb and going through the motions, that's starting to make a little more sense. But and then the denial part resonates a little bit more.
So
go ahead.
I'm listening to you, and all of that in my particular circumstances, the anger, the denial, the sadness are all parts of the stages of grief as you deal with those things. Literally.
I know. Okay, grief.
Denial is the very first phase of it. You dig what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it could be denial of a circumstances or denial of my feelings, but either way, denial is the very first phase in the grief process of grief. And then the second phase is anger. Like, you walk around with a fucking rage that you've never experienced before. And I don't know if you've had someone close to you pass so suddenly, but it's not like an angry. This shit is like a rage that fills your body that you can't explain.
Okay.
Like, I remember being legitimately like it's a fucking rage, bro. It ain't like, you know, I'm mad at today or this nigga pissed me off. Like, it's just a rage that runs through you for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you fall into the bargaining phase where you kind of like, you know, what if? Then there's depression.
Question.
Yes.
Is grief is how you say? Is depression an after effect, or how you say, of grief? Like, is there depression without grief or vice versa?
I think so again, from my experience with depression, I'm going through these emotions, and then I was put on to the 5 stages of grief, and to be able to identify, like, when I saw those phases and I read through them, it was like, oh shit, like I've been there, I've been here, and this is where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to identify exactly where I was in the process of grief, and depression was one of the processes. And it wasn't until I saw that I realized, nigga, you might be depressed.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So I think they go hand in hand.
Let me ask you this question. Getting back to the question, is it a luxury or a cop-out? Now, you were saying you were able to, like, suppress it some days and turn it off and turn it on. So is it a luxury? Was it a luxury for you?
Nah. I think I labeled it as like an expense. Like, depression is expensive, bro. It's like
it was never a luxury, though.
He was still going to work. He was still going to work.
How people deal with it is the luxury of it. Because if you think about it, people, like Mary was saying, people use it as a clutch. And I've experienced depression myself, and I know people close to me who actually take medicine for it. I refuse to do that shit. But I'm not a fan of that, because I feel like it's a mental state of being. And like you guys were saying, you can totally function and be depressed. You can smile all day long and be depressed, just like you can be a functioning alcoholic. So I don't really I think it's real, but I also think that how people deal with it is the cop out.
What's the opposite
of
depressed?
Like joyful, happy, you
know. So you saying your smiles are fake when you're depressed? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I just like, well, to what Chief was saying, it's a mask. Like, you just kind of get up, you're numb, you do what you got to do. You're in, I guess, autopilot, sort of, because you have responsibilities. but it's all, you're not there. It's all
If
like clockwork.
if happiness is an antonym of depressed, then you can't be happy while depressed.
There's spots. I think there's moments.
There's moments of it.
Internally, I feel like internally it's still that heaviness in you that you can't really shake. It's like a feeling you can't really shake. Like, for instance, postpartum depression. Like, I don't know if your wife experienced that after any of the kids or whatever the case may be, but it's like it's a whole different transformation that you're having to deal with, a whole different lifestyle you're having to deal with, and you're forced into adjusting to it. So you do it because that's your job to do it. Now, does it mean that you're okay while doing it? No. But you're doing what you have to do. You still got to take care of your kids. You still got to take care of your home.
But is postpartum, does that come with chemical imbalance? Like, for instance, women have like hair.
Yeah, it's a hormonal imbalance. That's why I said sometimes it is the fact that you have, hormonal or, chemical imbalances in your brain and things like that can affect you, along with a lot of other mental health issues. But it's
no, wait. Because you said we ain't talking about, that's where it gets foggy for me again. Now it's a bunch of other shit. But I think postpartum depression has a chemical component to it, right? Certain chemicals do certain things to your brain and body. So if you have deficiencies, or if you just shed out a whole nother person, now you got to go back to whatever. I can understand that more because it's hormonal.
Yeah, but I mean, with a lot of people too, like there's people that your hormones can adjust, throughout a certain period of time. I know people that have suffered with postpartum depression and they kid like 3 and they still going through it. You know what I'm saying? At that point, your hormones have adjusted already. You have a 3-year-old.
But doesn't postpartum have a period?
Yeah.
It depends. It depends on what's it associated with, because, and it also depends on whatever your therapist feel like telling you. But like there's people that have it labeled from the goddamn 3 years old, 5-year-old kids, and they still dealing with it.
So, Mary, are you coming over to my side a little bit?
No, I didn't agree with the fact that you don't feel like it's real, but I feel like it can be used as a crutch.
But with Chief saying something potent was the numb part. And, I've been in that space of feeling numb, right? Like, so you're getting up and you're just going through the motions, and it's just like, okay, like things are never as funny as it's a very, very heavy feeling. And I do agree with Chief in the saying of y'all are acting like y'all are unemotional. It's not that you're unemotional. Maybe you are compartmentalizing it. So maybe you going to work and still getting up to do what you have to do. Just because you're compartmentalizing it doesn't mean that you are the same. And then for y'all to have noticed the change in Chief, would y'all not acknowledge that being depressed?
Say that last.
Or would you classify it as something different?
Say it. Are you talking to me?
You and Bob.
Would you say it again?
So noticing the change in Chief, right, when he was going through what he was going through during the football season, would y'all not now acknowledge that as, okay, like I can see he was depressed?
Yeah, we saw it. We saw it, but like I said earlier, maybe it was us just, well, some of us being, selfish to the point where it's like, all right, my man, like, when you gonna get over this? Like, or do you ever get over it? You know what I'm saying? Maybe it was us being selfish because during that time, there was a task at hand to be, dealt with. And he was a major part of the task that needed to be dealt with. So it's like, yo, were we selfish for thinking, yo, you got to put your own personal like feelings to the side for a hot little minute and come on board and focus up and let's get it. So, like,
well, so for me, I mean, football field is a place of tranquility. Like, it's a violent place for people who ain't football players. For football players, you playing football. So all that is peaceful, like being out there, you feel like I'm on top of the world. So it can be a coping thing if you're dealing with something. But as men, I just see like hard is hard. And you have moments in time where hard is harder. But by no means should we fall into a place of like, not functioning and stuff like that. And that's what I'm hearing it used more like that than what Chief is saying.
Yeah. So the cop out of using your depression as a crutch, because as men, we tend to just keep going regardless of the matter. You know what I mean? This is going on at the crib. I need to make some more money. I need to spend some more hours working. I need to do what I got to do. And sometimes just having that routine can be depressing, can be a part of the depression. Just getting up, going to work, coming home, getting up, going to work, come home, get the same thing over and over and over again can take a toll on certain people if they're not built a certain way. Like I'm pretty sure there's been times, Hamp, when you just had, it was, we moving, I got to grind for the next 2 or 3 months. And you don't realize that routine is getting the best of you. You're tired all the time. Like depression shows up in people differently. You dig what I'm saying? I can't really explain how it showed up in me, but I do remember like just not being as energetic, not being as necessarily motivated to do anything outside of what I had to do. That's go to work, make sure the money's coming in, and then take care of my kids. Anything outside of that was like, nah, I'm good. I don't want no parts of it. And again, didn't realize it until I guess came out of it and was like, shit, like my nigga, like it was okay. I'll give you a prime example. I realized I was like a shell of a man, not doing much. Me and my lady hadn't done anything for a while. I'm like, yo, where Maxwell's coming to town? Let's go. Bet. Love my R&B. Take her to the Maxwell concert. I bullshit y'all not here. I cried from the time the concert started to the time the concert ended.
Why?
The whole fucking time. I don't know. I can't explain it. I was just I was sad. I was I like literally from the time I sat down. I got up, went to the bathroom. I couldn't shake it in the bathroom. Coming back, sat my ass back down, and was still crying. I'm like, yo, this is terrible. Like, she can't enjoy this with her man sitting there fucking crying the whole time.
Why you ain't leave?
Because I was trying to fight the shit so my lady could have a good time, because we ain't did shit in a long time. So I'm sitting here trying to, you know what I mean? Trying to be a man, trying to knuckle up.
Crying though, like
what did she do when you were crying?
Hold on.
She was encouraging. She was encouraging me. No, I was probably just sitting there tearing, like just tearing the whole time. I couldn't keep it together.
All right.
Hits you here.
So, question. So, when it comes to that, you guys don't think that how you and Bob are seeing it as it's nothing? Do you think that has anything to do like with men suffering in silence? Like the fact that you just don't want to address it, or you don't want to put a name on it, but you feel these things, but you just don't label it because men are supposed to quote unquote suffer in silence.
I think we're doing what we're supposed to do. See, because go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just think like all this people getting in touch with their feelings, suicide rate up and down, Mary.
Up.
And I know the motherfuckers back in the day was working way more physical and tougher than we are.
But you always say that you think that you're gonna live till like 72 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I feel like the depression compiled with the stress of just feeling like, as the man, I have to be the provider. I don't have a chance to sit down. That could take you out. So, and I think because you don't talk about it, and I think. Men, maybe sometimes y'all don't realize, like you may snap at your girl a little bit. You may be very short with her. Maybe you're not sleeping. Like you don't have a moment of calm or rest because you are depressed, because you're always on your go guard.
No, bro. Niggas be tired.
Exactly. I'm not calling that depression.
Niggas be hungry. That's why you snappy. It's too many fucking kids. That's why you snappy.
Exactly.
I'm like, come on. Like it's
okay. So she's right? So he went out with his girl or whatever. Let's say he wasn't crying, right? So me and Chief go out to a concert. Maybe he's not crying, but I could just tell he's not enjoying himself. Like he's literally just here. You've never been in a situation with your girl and she's like, I don't feel like you're having a good time. Are you okay?
I'm not. That's why. See, that's the part that killed me.
So let me flip it real quick then.
Hold on, Chief. Let me tell the story quick. We went. She like, you good? No, I'm ready to go. Nigga, I don't even need to tell you the story. The shit boring. Niggas running around singing. This shit is like go ahead, Chief.
Nah, so I'm a put it like this. I could be wrong. This nigga might try to play tough right now, but I feel like if the circumstances back then happened today, you guys would absolutely have a conversation with me. You would absolutely approach me. In our maturity, we would be able to have a conversation about what y'all think is wrong, or asking me questions like, "Am I okay?" You wouldn't have ducked it, giving me the space to kind of process through it. Yeah. Right or wrong?
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. So to that point, in that time, we just didn't have the
capacity.
what's the emotional intelligence to pull your homie aside and be like, yo, we see something ain't right, bro. Like, you know what I mean? What's good? Like, can we help? You okay? Do you need some help? Like, y'all at least offer that gem right now in our mature age, in our emotional growth.
I think so. We could see things better now for sure. Yeah, I can see that. That's
which at that time, who knows, could have helped. Yo, like, you need to talk, B? Because I wasn't talking to nobody. My nigga, I was going to work, come home, sitting the fuck down.
Yeah.
I was going, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't talking to I was going to work, doing what I had to do, coming home, taking care of my kid, going to sleep, doing it all over again. Wasn't talking to nobody about it, was just processing, crying in my pillow every night for a while.
Yeah, I want to answer. Go ahead, read that super chat.
Alex, can you read?
Shit like that. For the $20 super chat.
No.
What?
Don't. This is a 20 ball. God damn it.
Okay.
You know you on your probationary period. You better read.
Don't do that. I'm alert. True Impact with the $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Hamp, you are right about chemical changes.
Shit like that.
Breast can be seen as such. It looks different. The panel is approaching as a subjective.
Yeah.
I said that.
Let me read it one more time. DJ, you are right about chemical changes. Physical changes are there. Mental health can be seen in the brain. A depressed brain can be seen as such. Okay. It looks different. Panel is approaching it as subjective. So but I acknowledge chemical imbalances and things like that. But what I think is that most people just run around saying they depressed and ain't a fucking chemical imbalance in sight.
But you only addressed it in regards to postpartum. I'm saying it's not subjective to just postpartum.
TBD, I guess. I'm just being honest, man. We having a conversation. You know what I'm saying? We having a conversation. So, damn, all right. Anybody want to say something else on that?
Yeah, because Alex asked me and you, like, if something was going on with us, would we address it with, like, our ladies or whatever? I don't hold shit inside. Whatever's difficult going on in my mind or in my life, I'm not holding that shit in. Because that's detrimental to me. I gotta let that shit out. If something bothering me, I'm letting any and everybody know that's involved about it. And like, yo, this is fucking bothering me. So it's not eating me up inside where I have that crutch to say, yo, I'm depressed. No, I'm not using that shit as a fucking crutch. Like, we gonna face that shit head on right now. Word.
So you don't suffer in silence?
Nope. Like, because like Hamp was saying, if whatever's going on as men, like him and I, if something got to get done, we just gonna do it. We just gonna chalk that shit up as like, all right, we know this shit got to get done. We're not gonna use that crutch saying, all right, well, shit, I'm just gonna soak in my own sorrow and not tell nobody. Like, if we coming home and we aggy, it's because we aggy about that situation head on. That's going on right now. Like, this ain't right. Yo, get that shit together. It ain't about something else that's going on. We facing that situation that's head on in front of us right now. Yo, that's not right. Handle that, or it's going to be a problem. It ain't from something that's a week old or 2 weeks old. We already addressed that shit a week or 2 weeks ago. Word. We ain't holding that in.
Word. And so, Hamp, I know you tell us not to. I don't typically do this, but I want to address this. So I'm looking at your boy Rock's comment, and Chief, maybe you're depressed because you're a female trapped in a man's body. Any man who can go through something significant like that and not feel some type of emotion is probably the devil. So you can talk tough all you want to, bro, but I experienced a significant traumatic experience in life, and the way I handled it was to the best of my ability, not recognizing I fell into a depression. But I was gonna say something disrespectful, but I'm not gonna do that on my thing. But just watch your tone, B. Like, you talk tough with capital letters in the chat box and all that, but when you get on here, these women chump you up. So you know the smoke's coming when you talk to me. Watch your fucking mouth.
Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that.
Wow.
That's a violation, right? Word.
Yeah. Now, one thing though, not on what Chief's saying, but just kind of what Bubba's saying. Now, if it's something that I have to deal with directly that she may not be involved in or don't got nothing to do with the kids, like job transit, just stuff, I probably deal with it on my own though, just because I don't want to bring that stress or burden on them because everybody ain't built for that type or everything.
Yeah, but how long does that process take though? Regardless of what the situation is you're dealing with, you deal with it on your own. You try to avoid putting that on somebody, but subconsciously it happens because you're not even aware you're dealing with the shit. Like you don't even see the anger in you that happens, or the slow how you move slow when you're in the middle of whatever it is you're trying to do. Oftentimes I don't think a lot of people who are depressed realize they are depressed.
Yeah, that's why I think it's fake.
Or
Again,
if
some people.
Oh,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, or if you're not comfortable telling your lady, maybe that's something you tell the fellas about. Like, all right, but you got to get it off. Like it's
not comfort. It's not comfort though, Tay. It's something like, okay, I got to deal with this. This is my job.
Yeah, but that's behind that. That's
not pushing you into depression. It's not that deep then. But there are things that could if you don't deal with it. Because disease is only dis-ease in the body. Like it all starts with where your mindset is.
But if I don't believe in it, then what? I'm good.
That's because that's a stigma that the men have, bro. Like think about it, fam.
Wait, you heard people say they don't think depression is real?
No, I'm just saying we don't think that we're allowed to feel it. And we can't, you're not going to talk to your lady about it because you don't want to put that on her. You ain't going to talk to the fellas about it because they're going to label you soft, or they don't want to talk about that shit, or they're going to call you a female in a man's body. You dig what I'm saying? So now you can't have a conversation because you're being judged all the way across the board. So you beating yourself up until somebody close to you is like, yo, nigga, you not right, fam. Or until a significant life situation happens and you go, damn, what the fuck was I on? You know what I'm saying? We all have that. Every one of us have those if I knew then what I know now conversations.
Yeah, hindsight is 2020.
For sure.
Yeah, I hear what you guys are saying. I'm not dismissing it.
Can you reference a time where you think you might have been a little bit depressed or even overwhelmed? Let's say overwhelmed. Do you think it would have done some been a service for you to just talk to somebody about it? Who at least trauma bond with somebody who like, yeah, we both going through the same shit. You know what I'm
saying? Come on, Hamp.
Maybe when I got locked up, maybe like that shit sucked.
I remember that time too. I remember that time and how you was acting around that time too. You was kind of straight, but you was kind of like fucked up, like damn, I gotta go. But you wasn't acting like all like down and like over extrally like depressed, like yo man, yo damn, yo.
But I
think I ain't gonna see y'all for a minute, yo.
There's two things to that, but one, look at how you describe that shit like it's bad for a nigga to be down his feelings. But two,
locked up, he can't even have a moment.
Yeah,
it'd be like this. This how it was, because Bub is right. Like we'd be having fun, and then you'd be like, damn, I got a test on Monday. You ever had that? You be having dumb fun on the weekend. You like, God damn, I got a test on Monday. You know that bring you like back to reality. So we'll be balling the sun. I'll be like, I gotta go sit down.
Because I was tight because I'm like, yo, this dude the life of the party. Now he gonna be going for a hot little minute. Other than that, I wasn't feeling sorry for his ass. Like you had to do to get yourself in that situation. Let's go. See you when you get back.
Yo, that's a prime example though. To somebody who's not mentally capable, not mentally tough, like having to leave the party, having to go away, can fucking break them down. Like you look at like, damn, I'll be going for a while. That situation right there might really put somebody in the hole. No pun intended. Like you know what I'm saying? Like nigga gotta get locked up for a little while.
Pass the time, but also people like they cope with depression differently. Like some people drink, some people smoke, some people overly party, some people have a lot of sex. Like everyone deals with it differently. But I think it takes someone to point it out, and be like, yo, like, are you okay? Something is a little different with you. Then you're like, okay, you noticing it too.
You can't tell niggas that. You can't tell. There's no way I have to like do something extravagant to sit him down, be like, my nigga, you going through a depression. Like, I can't be like, yo, you wilding, you depressed right now. He'd be like, nah. Like, you can't tell a man he's depressed. You could have told me in the middle of my depression I was depressed. You could have said it. You couldn't have told me after losing my brother that I was depressed. You could have told me that. Fuck out of here. Ain't nobody depressed. I'd just be like, nigga, I had a bad game. That's what I would have said. I had a bad game. Fuck you mean depressed?
Niggas like, yo, what the fuck Chief doing, yo?
Yeah, you can't. Like, we even in the middle of it, you couldn't have told me I was depressed.
See what I mean, Alex? Mary been off the camera for 4 minutes. That's yo, I'm telling you, man. These pregnant motherfuckers, bro.
Bro, put him in a fucking bedroom. Get him out of here. Come on.
I'm telling you,
show some grace.
Huh?
I said, show some grace.
Shit. Ain't nobody tell her to get pregnant. No Cupcake Zone podcast with the $2. Men don't get a free pass for depression. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. And we out. Skid it.